Hello, guys, and welcome back to our second live of the day as we go into a deep dive into Marisol Nichols, who was featured at the 10X Ladies Conference. I did see that Viola asked in the chat what 10X stands for. You guys, 10X seems to be the rebrand that Elena and Grant came up with in order for them to be able to soft sell Scientology. That's the easiest way I can describe what 10X as a euphemism is, right? They build this brand over this 10X thing. They have 10X University for Kids, 10X Health, 10X Investments, all manner of stuff that is all this like 10X brand. And yeah, we're gonna see. This is a very long deep dive that Marisol Nichols does, but I think it's very important that we react to all of this because God knows for how long they will be kept up. And here, Ms. Marisol Nichols, as we described before in our earlier live about Tim Ballard and the sketchiness that's going on in there, you can go check that out if you haven't seen it, if you're in the replay crew. And yes, you guys, let's dive into what in the literal hell is going on here with this 10X ladies, Marisol Nichols and Elena Cardone, two Scientology mothers. So let's make sure that that's understood. We're reacting to two Scientology mothers who are actively Scientologying their children, their underage children, who, yes, we are saying their underage kids cannot consent to them Scientologying them. It's not a thing. It's not okay. It's unacceptable. So let's just make sure that we lead with that. So hope y'all grabbed your popcorn and enjoy.
On behalf of 10X Ladies, this is our first annual 10X Ladies Award. I can't think of anyone else who deserves this more than you.
So right away with the Scientologists cannot help themselves, you guys. There's nothing better than handing themselves awards. Apparently, awards going from one person to another. Literally. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. This is such a Scientology thing to be doing, to be handing out awards.
Yeah, I'm after what I want. Money that I'm getting for investing, not the flow. Thanks, badass. I'm gonna give you what you need.
This woman is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal, okay? She's an actress. She's a humanitarian. She had a breakout role as Audrey Griswold in Vegas Vacation. Do y'all remember it? How cool? She currently stars on Riverdale. Any Riverdale fans?
I mean, very, very hype. Is giving very, very hypey vibes, you guys. And it's actually great. For all of you who are wondering, like, well, what do they do inside the hotel all this time? Like, how does it make any sense? Thanks to Elena and Marisol, you guys are getting a little bit of what these events at the hotel that go on and on and on for hours. They bring up speakers and then they just go on diatribes, literally just blah, blah, and everyone's just so hyped up. Everyone's so excited. And it's like, it's actually really like pitiful when you really think about it.
Woo! And she is currently an informant, an undercover operative in the United States and abroad. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, we do agree with you right there. That's crazy that she's an informant for the government, you guys. Like, Is Elena for real? Are they have infiltrated the government again? Scientology? Wasn't that what they got indicted for before? I mean, what in the literal hell? Marisol Nichols really high up there informing who? Who is Marisol Nichols informing exactly? She's the OSA op sent over to kneecap the LAPD Human Trafficking Division. Let's not forget, Marisol Nichols was sent there to be chummy with the LAPD, to fraternize AF with the LAPD, to go on rides all over the city with different LAPD departments, and got to be bestie westies with the human trafficking head of the LAPD. So let's not forget that that's the humanitarian being pitched by Elena Cardone here with a full, straight, literal face.
Marie Claire magazine has dubbed her the Hollywood vigilante. She's been a part of numerous covert operations leading to the successful.
So there you go, you guys. Marisol Nichols pitched by Marie Claire magazine, corporate media, Marie Claire magazine. They do have editors there. They're not supposed to be Us Weekly. They are supposed to have some journalistic ethics purported, supposedly. I mean, I did a whole reaction video on this already, you guys. We went over the Marie Claire episode that Marie Claire reported on, really pitching. Do you see how all of these publicists and all of these magazines and all of this corporate media couldn't be up to their neck and ears in complicity? Then you wonder why the corporate media doesn't report on anything. Well, in what world are going to be reporting on things that they are in on it, laundering the image of who are we going to do it this week? Who needs a little soap and bubbles from the corporate media? Oh, it'd be great to have Marisol pitched as a vigilante because, you know, turns out that she's an informant for the government. Apparently a very high-ranking informant, according to whatever Elena just told us here. I mean, you really do learn a lot from whatever in the hell they are talking about. I mean, they put this all over the public record. This is literally there on a YouTube, monetized.
Of arrests of dozens of sex traffickers and child predators. Yes.
I mean, you guys, the disconnect. I mean, she's excited about the child traffickers and the predators to be arrested. Imagine being you, Elena, with a straight face, showing that you're so excited for those arrests to be happening. Meanwhile, inside of your hotel, all a self-admitted child predator needs to do is blab their mouth in session. And you do know what that means, Elena. In session. Have you ever committed a felony for which you have not been arrested? Oh yeah, the felony was I essayed my underage daughter 2 weeks ago. When was it? Where was it? An A to C of data mining, all that operation. All that information, when, where, how many times, what did you do, when did you do it, where did you do it, how many times did you do it, what was going on, who did what, where were you, where was he, where, every single detail. But in what world are these women so excited for traffickers to be locked up and arrested when that is literally what is going on in the hotel? In what world do they not understand that that's what's going on in the hotel? They are very aware, you guys, that these audits are going on a daily basis. They're providing their kids to be getting this. So that is why this alarm is being sounded code red. Because these ladies that have a platform, these ladies that Marie Claire is pitching as a Hollywood literal vigilante. Imagine that. I mean, literally, it's not like it was a role. It wasn't even for a joke, you guys, as you're going to see.
As well as liberating numerous women and children. Thank you. In 2015, she founded her own nonprofit called Foundation for a Slavery-Free World, where she yes.
I mean, just because you opened a foundation for a slavery-free world while you donate to a trafficking hotel that enslaves. So where's the pitch not landing? Where is the literal facts not being understood by these women that are out there as proxies, blabbing, normalizing, and luring people into the hotel? Oh, don't you want to hear the secrets? Guess who's the inner core of Cardone? Guess what you have to do to become bestie westies, fully trusted, fully vetted, fully, oh yeah, you're one of us now. Bingo. So if you're going to this 10X, you're the ones that are over there. So it's only until you really go, oh, I really want to know about Scientology. Oh, I really want to go and do my OT levels. Oh, then you're here, then you're vetted, then we love you, then it's great and it's wonderful. So just keep in mind, that's how these conferences go. This is how these people think. If you love L. Ron Hubbard, then oh my God, we couldn't have more in common. That's what we're sounding the alarm code red on. The fact that they have that in common, the fact that L. Ron Hubbard cannot be reined back, the fact that all of them have to apply whatever in the hell he wrote on a piece of paper, and they're all doing it, and they're all normalizing it between each other.
Where she focuses on broad-reaching dissemination and education campaigns to prevent women and children from ever falling into the hands of these monsters. So,
I mean, the projection is real, you guys. And you know what? That's it.
Before she comes up, I'd like to direct your attention to the video and introduce Marisol Williams.
Marisol Williams? Oh my God, Elena, flunk for being so outpt. Flunk for screwing up Marisol's name. Imagine the type of miswithholds you must be having right about now to commit such a mistake. You must be so PTS. You must be so literally the effect of suppressives, because who in the hell literally makes that mistake, you guys? Oh yeah, I'd like to introduce you to Marisol Williams, somebody that doesn't exist. Wow. I mean, literally, where is ethics pulling the string on Elena Cardone messing up Marisol Williams? What's her name? Williams, Nichols, something like that. I mean, Williams, Nichols, potato.
Okay, so this is my face after infiltrating trafficking ring.
Ew. So yeah, just trigger warning, you guys. Go grab your nearest vomit bag. If you don't have a bag next to you, then just grab a trash can. Grab yourself a trash can and just go la 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 la, because this is gonna be literally, kid you not, so nauseating and disgusting. Because again, it's like it's all this propagandized. Oh yeah, look at really the behind the scenes, you guys, and it's just nauseating. But let's just watch.
A massage parlor trafficking little kids in a whorehouse in one fucking day. So we're in a safe house. I've been practicing my accent all day.
Did you guys see the fake contact lenses? I mean, this is giving like, I mean, is this really what kids are relying to be saved? In what world is the FBI behind this? Seriously. Because this is just so insulting to see this tape. I mean, in what world are they really saying that they're high-ranking government informants? Oh, and she was sent to the Dominican Republic on a sting operation. I mean, again, you guys, in what world is she being sent to the Dominican Republic, where all she needs to do is be sent to a Scientology hotel, her and Elena? Come here. Yeah, you, Elena, and you too. Come here. Sit down. How many underage kids are inside of those hotels where you have been donating so much money? Because we have your tax records right here. And look, turns out that you've been really donating a lot. So by all means, tell us, how many kids are in there right now, underage? At the Fort Harrison, at the Sandcastle, at the Clearwater Hotel building, at the Coachman, at the Superpower building, at the Celebrity Center, at the AOLA. How many are in there right now? Right. So since we don't have any photos, since all the corporate media is lazy AF, they don't want to infiltrate. They don't want to check anything. They don't want to see anything. They just want to be told and told and told. They want people yapping, and they're going to write something up here and write something up there, and they're just going to play dumb. So given that that's all the intel that the FBI has, you, Elena, and you, Marisol Nichols, that really wants to be a double agent, well, double agent on yourself now, because now you're going to go to the Sandcastle and you're going to tell us how many underage kids are there. Go put your little Google glasses. I'm sure the president's office won't be suspicious at all. You're the OT8, the big celebrity. Everyone bow down to Marisol Nichols, all the slaves, all the children that are slaves. How many tech pages are inside of the Sandcastle Hotel, Marisol Nichols? As you purport to, really go check it out at the third world countries, you guys. It doesn't happen in America. It doesn't happen in Florida. It doesn't happen in luxury hotels. It only happens here where, there's a lot of guns and there's a lot of chaos, because this is not a set. This couldn't be more real. This is what we're supposed to really think, that she's on a sting operation. I mean, what type of sting operation is this? It'd be great to understand what type of law enforcement agency is really tapping on this woman to really do this operation. Because right about now, you've already effed up sending her to do the wrong sting operation. She should be inside of a hotel in Florida, in all over Los Angeles, giving you guys the real skinny of how many minors are being ensnared. Let's just start with that. So the United States, that apparently is really, really great, incredible partners with Ms. Nichols, is doing, Dominican Republic sting operations? Huh?
Marisol Nichols.
Please welcome the fabulous Marisol Cat Nichols.
Marisol, I think you shocked the world when you shared your story that while you've been starring on Riverdale, you have been working to stop sex trafficking.
Adrian Tam paging interviewer Adrian Tam. She stops trafficking. This is the fakest line ever written by an interviewer. You guys, imagine that. She pitches Marisol as someone who stops trafficking while she funds the trafficking to the tune of millions. Somebody go get her IRS tax donations so y'all can start understanding how much money, how much skin in the game does this Hollywood actress have. Because you know what? Next up should be compile a list of all to really start understanding numbers. You know what? Because let's really find out who's funding the trafficking. Because apparently the corporate media is completely divorced from connecting that shred of dot. Apparently, you know what? Oh, you thought you were doing a religious activity, didn't you? Oh, you had no clue what the audits were. Scientology parent. Oh, you had no clue what the ethics handlings were, Scientology parent. Oh, you had no clue what the courses were all about, Scientology parent. And you must have been so clueless and you gave them $10 million. And it sucks to be you. Let's cradle and canoodle you. Because were you in a cult? Oh, yeah, we really want to have a headline. She stops trafficking, says Adrian Tam. Marisol Nichols might play a villain on a hit television show, Riverdale, but off screen, she's a heroic crusade to end slavery. Marisol Nichols, you guys, ending slavery single-handedly. So what type of fake ass headline is really this, Adrian Tam? Because somebody should snapshot this fake headline and literally this is why the corporate media is not being trusted, because they sanitize the image of all of these celebrities. They're all in on it. They're all doing each other's bidding. Oh, your client's having a problem? Don't worry. I'll connect you with someone. Let me call someone at Mary Claire. I really know somebody there that owes me a lot of favors. Mary Claire. Oh, yeah, I have somebody that I really need you to, talk and launder an image and picture as this greatest whatever. So, yeah, Adrian Tam pitches Marisol Nichols, the one that funds the trafficking, as somebody that stops it. So, in what world is someone stopping it when they're paying money to a hotel that did that to us? Imagine that. Imagine that she was there paying already when I was already locked up in that hotel. So you have skin in the game back to when I was locked up there in the 90s, Marisol. Imagine how much skin in the literal game of that hotel you really do have. You should really start checking your account. You should really start checking your bill. You should really start checking how much money you've paid. Because you know what? Let's put a dollar amount to it, so we can really start talking about what in the hell is this.
And to catch these horrible people in this world.
I'm an actress. To me, it's like, okay, I just have to think about this as a role. I remember this one op that we did. I was pretending to be a kid.
You want to come see you or what?
Yeah.
Stand up, get on the ground. Police department, get on the ground now!
You got to go to a place that you never would ever want to go, and you got to play that part perfectly. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. What's worth it exactly, Marisol Nichols? What exactly is worth it? Because that would be great for you to start typing on a piece of paper. Send that to your nearest publicist that you can find to help you sanitize how worth it is that you run a foundation for a slavery-free world. As if that's not an insult to our intelligence now that we are adults. Now that we are adults, Marisol. See how different we act now that we're not being told that we're adults, even though we were 12 when we got ensnared in that disgusting hotel that you keep pitching as a wonderful place to go and check out. Well, you really go get sunned on sting missions from all over the place. I mean, you guys, where is the false pitch? How is this pitch being so false and all over the literal place?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you, Elena, for letting me be a part of this incredible 2-day event. I'm so honored to be here with you all. And I want to especially thank you for coming to my talk because, it's a hard topic to hear about. So I really, really, really appreciate you coming. Also, fair warning, I don't think there's any kids in the crowd. But if there are, parents.
Look at her pretending that she's actually concerned about kids. Aren't they just adults in small bodies, Marisol? Or does that just apply to kids that end up inside of your hotel? because that would be great for you to, also tell your publicist to write down on a piece of paper, in what world are kids inside of a place outside where you're being seen and perceived? Oh, God forbid these kids hear about these horrible things we're going to discuss here. Trigger warning for the kids. So what, Scientology kids that end up locked up inside of audits being asked disgusting, unthinkable sexual questions? What? That doesn't apply to them, right? Because those are the ones that are adults. Do you see how it works, you guys? You see how their elitism works? I hope you guys start actually understanding that connection. As a child, you're told you're special. As an underage child, you get told, oh yeah, you get audited. You get it. You're not like those children. You are very OT. You were in this last lifetime. You did this before. We've known you for a million lifetimes before. You've come back. All these fake pitches, delusional, complete delusional, disgusting grooming pitches being done on kids with a straight face by these Scientology moms, including but not limited to Elena and Marisol and my mother and all the other mothers in Scientology. They're all doing the same bidding, the same exact bidding. So for all of you that really want to say, oh, but this one didn't do it, check the book. Check the book and see if that one didn't do it. Because a lot of y'all want to be like, oh, this one didn't do it, that one didn't do it. They all did it. In what world are people coming and telling us now that, oh no, that one didn't do it. Oh no, she didn't know. She didn't know. She was never aware of that. They're all aware of exactly what in the hell they've done. That's the problem they have. They're so aware of it that they play dumb. Imagine that. Imagine that. Playing dumb is all we get so that plenty of more kids can continue to get ensnared, because does it look like anyone gives an F? Right about now, the answer is absolutely not.
It's a dark subject. So, I'm going to show some videos that maybe they don't want to see. Just warning. Or you maybe want them to see. It's up to you. Okay, so many of
you. Just as we thought she was going to really. Oh, damn. Okay, guys. Just as we thought she was really wanting to make sure the kids were clear. Well, you know what? Maybe there's some Scientology kids that should stay because you really want them to see. So if Elena had any Scientology moms there as part of her 10X ladies, imagine they go, you 9-year-olds, stay here. You really need to listen to this. Listen to whatever in the hell Marisol is pitching, because she's a high Scientology celebrity, and you really should respect her because she's in Riverdale. You should really be very, very starstruck.
You know me from my acting career, right? I've been on shows like 24, Riverdale. I've starred opposite guys from Chevy Chase to Chris Rock. I am also a single mom to an amazing, amazing teenage girl named Rain. We have a very special relationship that I'm very proud of, and I've worked very hard for that.
I mean, again, you guys, she's very proud of a relationship that she's really worked hard to have with her kid. And sometimes you really have to read between the lines of their cognitive dissonance. And that's where you go, damn. Because again, it's like, if your mother and your father are being advised by convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard on how to treat you, the relationship of a child and a parent is always going to result in complete and utter wreckage. So the type of domineering that these women do on their kids, you can't see it. The type of underhanded abuse that happens just by use of the language. The language is enough. They can tell a child that they're indicted. Oh, you're getting a committee of evidence. You, 12-year-old, are going to get a committee of evidence. They can terrorize a child telling them they're about to be indicted. And yes, as a child that you thought you were an adult, that you thought you were just like them, that's what you get told all the time. So yeah, when they tell you with a straight face, you're about to get a committee of evidence, we're going to really investigate you. We're going to put you on a meter. We're going to interrogate the living F out of you because we're really going to find out your crimes that make you not want to be here. We're really going to find out your crimes that make you be critical of us. Remember, these are mothers that are normalizing for all of their children to never be critical of the adults of the hotel. So here they're making a big song and dance about how they're really on the guard for children. But you know what? When they go inside the hotel, they just let it go loose because kids here are different, is what these ladies say to themselves with a full straight face. And I mean, again, that is what the alarm is being sounded on, you guys. There's nothing else to say. I mean, these ladies are acting like the kids in the hotel are different. And you know what? We weren't different. We were just kids.
I also have a nonprofit, thank you, as Elena mentioned. And from time to time, I work as an undercover sex trafficking agent. So thank you. So I'm going to get a little personal. And I'm going to say things to you that I normally don't say in huge settings or in the public eye. I've only mentioned it a few times. But I'm going to give you a little bit of my background if that's okay.
So she already started lying. She's already started lying. You guys, I haven't covered this pitch, but believe you me, I know this woman like the back of my hand already. And you know what? This is the pitch that she always goes with. So she's about to tell you her life story, which is actually very relevant to the whole context that we're talking about. So I'm glad you guys are going to hear this pitch, but then you know what? We're not going to have to revise this or cover her anywhere else because she's always got the same story. Very similar to Elena. They have their one narrative that they always say. Oh, I used to be this, and then I did that, and then I did this, and then, oh my God, and then look at me. That's literally, and then they always repeat that ad nauseum every time they get interviewed, every time they get asked a question. They have their short story completely figured out, exactly word for word. So check it out.
So I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. And that's right, thank you. To a father that was always drinking. That's pretty much the memories that I have. He always had a beer or a bottle of wine in his hand. And his answer to life was essentially violence. He didn't really know much else. And for some reason, that was always directed towards me, not my two younger brothers, just me. And I could never figure it out. I thought that maybe there was something wrong with me. And I found out later when I was 16, long story, when I was getting kicked out of one high school, going to another high school, I found my private papers. And in there, that's where I found out he wasn't my biological father and no one had told me, but it explains a lot. My next door neighbor.
I mean, I think it actually does explain a lot about this woman, you guys. The fact that she was betrayed in this way definitely explains a lot, because she's definitely telling you that she comes from a very rough upbringing. Never mind that her upbringing is no different than the plight of Scientology minors. Never mind that our parents might have not been drinking, but they were drunk on the L. Ron Hubbard rhetoric on a daily basis. The cognitive dissonance, their distortion of reality with words, utilizing all these terms on kids, terms that should never be used with kids. Why these ladies seem to be completely unaware of that. And that's why we're calling out all Scientology parents, you guys, because all of them, it took all of them to normalize it. You know, this is not, oh, Marisol Nichols is such a bad mom. Let's really make an example of her. Or, oh my God, look, Elena, Cardone, we just found one Scientology mom that's really out of her mind. No. It's just all of them. They all had their own version of their own power dynamic imbalance that they forced upon their children, given by a convicted felon. And that power dynamic imbalance eroded any type of mother-child relationship. They gave that up. That's what they sacrificed when they were blabbing disgusting things at kids. You're out of ethics. You're disgusting. You're out 2D. You're out of valence. You're in a condition of liability. You're a liability. You're a treasonous. Like, and you're just there as a child, like knowing what in the hell they're talking about. Like the violence, like, oh, you're going to make all this, you're going to clean, you're going to always all this like anger and violence to make everyone be submissive. I mean, that's the L. Ron Hubbard agenda. Like he's literally like, whoever did the most courses, whoever got the highest of the certificate is yelling and screaming and domineering everyone else, creating power dynamic imbalances that are disgusting beyond. For all you people that are oh, but the disconnection policy. Well, you know what? The power dynamic imbalances are so disgusting and nauseating that you should be, sounding the red flag. Because kids inside of those family units, guess what? They don't have an advocate. They can't hope that the Scientology parent's going to realize that they're effing them up. The Scientology parent is pretending that they're helping them. Oh, I'm helping you. By abusing you, they're helping you. So no, children are not helped by being abused. Children are not helped by being locked up against their will. Children are not helped by being insulted and degraded and groomed with disgusting terms that have nothing to do with reality except for these disgusting sadistic adults, paid proteges of L. Ron Hubbard that seem to be able to, come from a really broken home, from a horrific childhood, and then what? Now they're doing it on other kids? Because that's what in the hell this is giving, Marisol Nichols. It sounds like you never broke the curse of your abusive father that betrayed you for not telling you who he really was. And it sucks to be you. But you know what? It also sucks to be all the Scientology kids that ended up with deranged parents as abusive and as violent as the one that you survived in your childhood. So just contextualize that so that you really understand where in the literal hell we're coming from, as if you literally care.
Growing up, pretty much molested me from the age of 5 up into the age of 11. And he was doing this to a lot of the girls in the neighborhood, but no one knew and no one was talking about it. And
no one knew and no one was talking about it. Well, guess what, Marisol? Inside of the Scientology hotels, all manner of people knew and they talked about it ad nauseum. They recorded it. They video recorded the admissions. They transcribed them. They graded them. Imagine 14 years old. Go get that person sec checked. Oh no, you're going to get a well done on your sec checking skills because you know what? You didn't get enough details. You just wrote that he masturbated, but you didn't say how. You didn't say why. You didn't say what he was thinking about. You didn't say what type of lube they used to, oil themselves up. You didn't get any of those details. You didn't confront. Didn't you do the TRs? We taught you to confront already. So why are you not confronting? So, yeah. That's what Marisol Nichols thinks is just normal. Because, we have TRs, guys. We have TRs inside the hotels. We're so different inside the hotels. We're so, we just think different. Well, start double checking if you should really be thinking that different. Start double checking that with a criminal attorney, because that would be great for all Scientology parents to take themselves to your nearest criminal attorney and double check on all the pitches from the convicted felon that you literally were told to follow. Come up with a way to end this. That's literally all there is to say.
for me, I think it started me down this path, if that makes sense. My mom was always sick. always in bed, fairly miserable. And so I didn't really have a place to go to talk to anyone. It was a far cry from my, career now as an actor. I was the girl in high school, that goes into like the lunchroom with.
Well, I guess we just saw the birth of a narcissist. I mean, again, guys, like, if you were so firsthand knowing how horrible it was to be the underdog, Marisol Nichols, in what world are you supporting it? And if you're unaware of that, how? How are you unaware? How are you so unaware?
With the tray and you're like panicked because there's nowhere to sit. And the mean girls won't let you sit with them and the boys are over there. I was that girl, right? Extremely introverted, extremely self-conscious. I was picked last for the teams. I was considered a loser. I would be called, hey, loser, like that girl, right? And then in 8th grade, we moved. And I had to go to a new school. And over that summer, I got a hold of some makeup. And I put makeup on. And I went into this new school, and I was the new girl. And none of them knew that I was like this loser from the other school. And the girls were nice to me, and the boys were nice to me, and everyone was sort of nice to me. And I made new friends, and I made this one friend. And
this is Makeup to the Rescue 101. So she went from loser to wearing makeup, and then
I'll just say her first name, just because. Her name was Sally. And Sally invited me to a party and asked me to spend the night at her house. Don't tell your parents, but we're gonna sneak out and we're gonna go to this party. And so we did. And I got to this party and there were 6 guys there and me and Sally. And it was the first time I ever drank. I was 12, 13, first time I ever did drugs, nothing. And the last thing I remember, and I've talked about this a little bit in my podcast if you've watched it, but is one guy walking towards me with a giant bottle of Seagram 7 and saying, drink. And I did. And I smoked 2 bongs, those things, if you forever, any former people in here. Thank you, just little giggles.
do you see how I love that we just caught her being so anti-420? You guys, literally, like, for any former, you see, like, Scientologists are disgusted. Guys, like, their superiority complex is all based on the fact that they don't take drugs. Imagine they act like they take drugs, but they don't take drugs. Imagine they can't even make a defense. Like, oh, well, you know what? I was so on a drug. No, they're stone cold sober. Elena gave birth without a shred of drug. She always talks about, oh, I've given birth without anything. No, not even a Tylenol. So it's literally horrific to see it in real life, because you start understanding their mindset of how they anchor things for themselves. I'm so much better because I never took a drug.
And that did it. I was like 95 pounds. I have 3 memories from that. I remember waking up on the bed, just my shirt on, nothing on underneath. And one of the guys walking towards me, naked, and all the rest lined up on the bed, watching and laughing. I remember being out on the sidewalk. It was February, it was freezing, and I remember the guy kicking me, going, get up, bitch, and asking me, like, where do you want to go? And I pointed to the police station that was literally around the corner. And they dumped me on those police station steps and rang the doorbell. And then I remember waking up in my own bed, not knowing how I got there. My underwear was on crooked the wrong way. And it hurt, for lack of a better word. And somehow or another, everyone in this freaking town knew. Like, this news traveled like wildfire. And
I mean, again, you guys, I mean, it's horrific what she's recounting. She's obviously didn't have any parental figures helping her. Her mom was always sick. The dad was not even her dad. And yeah, it's absolutely horrific that she ended up in that situation. Absolutely horrendous. It's also horrendous that to understand now that imagine that she's had to address this, so-called address this in her Scientology audits. It's absolutely unthinkable. Someone that completed a 2-week course sat down in front of her and said, oh yeah, by the power of whatever L. Ron Hubbard taught me, let me really help you clean it and float it, and it's all going to float, and it's all going to do this, and it's all going to do that. And that's what the alarm code red is being sounded on. These hotels are no place for people to go get advice on how to really overcome literal felonies. And the problem with what you're talking about, Marisol, is that was the experience so many of us had inside of those hotels. In case you didn't know, when we were in the Sea Org, when we were put in disgusting close-quartered places with adults that all got to watch us. All the showers were communal. Everything was just disgusting and depraved because no one gave an F, because every child here is an adult. So you created an environment, you donated to that environment. You're not a Sea Org member, but you definitely have been donating to the Sea Org. So by all means, explain that. Explain how you have no skin in the game. And again, it's not just Marisol, you guys. It's who? Jason Lee. I don't care that he left. Where in the hell is he? Where in the hell is he? Where's Nicole Kidman? Where's Katie Holmes? Where are they? Are they just excused because they can just be aloof? Just better luck next lifetime for everyone. Yes, I saw everything. Yes, I observed everything firsthand. Yes, I saw kids inside of these disgusting hotels. So much so that Katie Holmes said, you know what? Not my Surrey, but all the other kids can go have better luck for themselves in another lifetime because I couldn't care less. Whatever you tell me to sign, I'll sign. Here, sign that, yeah, sure, whatever, here. Okay, Tom Cruise, just leave us alone. I'll rescue my daughter. Well, you know what? It's time to rescue the rest. It is the year 2024, Katie Holmes. And you could be doing a lot more than nothing. Join the rest of the Scientology parents that are doing nothing. That's a choice. That's a choice that all of you adults that got ensnared and involved in the rhetoric of convicted felon L. Ron Hubbard have to reconcile for yourselves. If you find that to be too heavy and too hard and too much heavy lifting, ask us if we give an F. Ask us. Because you know what? We're not going to give an F because all the heavy lifting being needed to be done by actual adults is being left to all and every last shred of minor stuck at the hotel as we speak. So yes, a lot more pressure needs to be given to the Scientology parents. In what world are they innocent? In what world did they not do anything wrong? Everything that Marisol is explaining her abusive father did is being done by deadbeat fathers in Scientology to their kids as we speak. So imagine the hypocrisy. Complete and utter hypocrisy. I really care about this issue. I really don't want kids to be abused. Meanwhile, they were all being abused, Marisol. And in your school, you know, maybe, yeah, no one talked about it, but at the hotel, everyone talked about it. And in your school, you're about to tell us that everyone found out. Well, inside the hotel, everyone found out too. So imagine that everyone would find out, oh, this one went out to D, oh, that one went out to D, you guys, oh, you know, they made examples out of kids to put heads on a pike. That's what they call it, you guys. It's like, oh, head on a pike, and then everyone's ethics will be in. Because we'll make such a horrible example out of this person that everyone will get the message and then not do it. And meanwhile, every other week, there was some adult and some kid getting ensnared in a hotel room, getting ensnared in an assist, getting ensnared at the Purif, getting ensnared at the jacuzzi, getting ensnared in however many available square footage of hotel is appropriated for whatever in the hell goes on in there that everybody finds out about. So again, for all of you that want to say, but nobody knew, no, this is a case where all parents knew. This data was mined, this data was transcribed, this data was video recorded. So all parents that want to claim that they're innocent, you're not. You're not, and we have the receipts. The receipts are in all of your children's folders. So for all of you that want to go say, whatever your child received inside of Scientology is the level of abuse that you endorsed. So stop putting the blame on the child that didn't want to get audited. That's why we say kids cannot consent, God damn it. That's why.
I didn't go to school for 2 days because apparently I also got hit by a car. And so I had a sling on, and when I got to school, it was like slow motion. It was walking down that, you guys remember freaking junior high and high school, and you walk down that hall, and like all the lockers are on either side of you. And I remember walking down that hall, and it was like slow motion, like the entire school was converging on me at once, and I'm hiding in my locker, and it's, hey, doggy style. Hey, how was your weekend, Marisol? Did you have a fun weekend, slut, whore, dun, dun, dun? I know what to do. My mom heard about what happened and grounded me, said that's what you get for drinking. It was her way of, she had her own stuff going on.
Yeah. So imagine that again, you guys, like, what do you think kids that went out 2D inside of the Fort Harrison got told? You're an out ethics slut. You're a degraded being. So yeah, Marisol, underage kids were told that inside of the Fort Harrison Hotel every single day that took place, that got found out, that someone was sent to ethics, that one was put on the meter, that all this information was pulled out, that executives came around disgustingly saying all of these things to the kids. So imagine that inside of your hotel, they do that to kids as we speak. And you had a bad experience in a school where, yes, it sucks that you were in that type of school. And it sucks that you didn't have any parental figures, but the cycle of abuse is being perpetuated under your watch. And that's what you need to become aware of. It's that simple. That's where you need to go and take photographs of how many underage kids are there. That's where you need to go to the FBI and become an actual advocate for kids and actually start documenting how many children are inside of the Scientology hotels. Don't play dumb when it comes to the Scientology hotels. That's where you're getting called out. You really want to be a vigilante? Then go be a vigilante then. Show up to the LAPD. Show up to the human trafficking best buddies of yours that you have on speed dial, that you interviewed on your own podcast for over an hour. Start. What in the hell is keeping you from doing that, Marisol? What in the literal hell is keeping you from doing something effective to actually advocate and not just go get, empty trophies that Elena Cardone got at the dollar store to give to you to really purport you and push you as a whatever lady you're being told you are?
And even the teachers. I remember a teacher, second period, pulled me aside and goes, Marisol, you should be careful. I heard about what happened over the weekend, and a girl can get a bad reputation. So I didn't know what to do. So I turned to drugs. I was like, fine. You think I'm a bad girl? I'm going to be a bad girl. Watch this.
I mean, again, you guys, how many Scientology kids, and this is something we never talk enough about, end up in horrific addiction and abuse of drugs? Doesn't get talked enough because you know what? They don't survive. So they just die and then nobody knows. And oops, sucks to be you. Because yes, having a childhood where, as Marisol says, both your parents are actively against you is not sustainable. It's not sustainable doesn't matter what type of person you are. There is no child equipped to have both parents turned against them. It never works out for that child. It always ends up in the tragedy that you're seeing here with this woman purporting that she is really standing up for our cause, and meanwhile couldn't be more ensnared working for the literal problem.
And for the next some odd years, I did every drug that I could get my hands on. I did more drugs before I was 15 years old than anyone should ever do. It was a bad scene. I ran away a ton of times, and I pretended to be this really tough girl, right? Because I was just angry. Inside, I was completely different. Inside, I was terrified. Inside, I was a completely different person, but the drugs sort of made me think that I was like, I can just numb and forget and kind of handle everything until I couldn't. I had a very warped sense of worth. I was very self-destructive, and it was a rough time. My dad ended up going to prison for several years. My younger brother killed himself. It was rough.
It is. It is very rough. When your family is this dysfunctional, it couldn't be more rough. And I feel like that's what all of you in our community understand, our plight. So many of you have survived unthinkable childhoods. I mean, that's really all it takes. It's a really common denominator we all have. Whatever in the hell our childhood was being called, ours was called Scientology. Therefore, all our parents made the exact same stupid mistakes. I mean, somebody said in the comments the other day, Stepford wives. I mean, from AF, Stepford wives AF. You guys, I mean, it's creating the Stepford wife from hell, L. Ron Hubbard. I mean, imagine that. Again, everything is robotic. Everything is regurgitated. Everything is, oh, I did read it here from L. Ron Hubbard, so it must be very, very true. And I can't have a critical thinking skill for myself, because if I think any critical thing to repudiate whatever L. Ron Hubbard says, don't forget that they get told that they need to clear a word in the dictionary. And then if they still want to say no, then they need to clear another one and another one. And that game never ends. That game never ends. It's always, you're so stupid, you don't get it. You're so stupid, you don't get it. Oh, now you get it. Okay, great. Wonderful. Then let's continue. So that's how L. Ron Hubbard made proteges and made disgusting Stepford wives from hell out of these ladies. Literally. I mean, it's so disgusting and tragic, really, when you think about it.
And about the age of 17, I looked around at the older people that I was hanging out with, and they were starting to go to prison. I mean, I had one friend that went to prison for 20 years. I have another friend still in prison for murder. And something clicked, and I just looked around, and I was like, if I don't change something, this is my life. And I just knew it. I'm gonna end up dead or in prison. And so I literally, something clicked, and I quit. And I mean, quit everything. And I quit smoking, drinking, everything. And thank you. Thanks. And I also lost all my friends, because that's who I was hanging out with, right? But, yeah, you can applaud that, that's right. Thanks. And so what happened was kind of serendipitous, and to me, it comes from that decision that I made of like, I better change the course of my life. And I had nothing else to do. And I was in that, on the 3-year plan, on the 2-year college, if you guys know that.
Check out the numbers of people in there, you guys, because this looks exactly like, I'm telling you, when I tell you this is Scientology, it's like in a picture, this is Scientology. Like, this is exactly it. They have a speaker, they have someone blabbing over here, they always have big screens over here, and this is all it takes to create this level of like, we're the ones that really know what in the hell we're talking about, because we go to a podium and we just yap and pretend that we're big experts about something. But look at all these grown people that are sitting there taking the pitch from this woman without understanding what's between the lines. They have no clue what she's saying. They just have to take everything at face value, and they have no idea about her background, what she's funding, what she's donating money to, nothing. They have no clue, apparently.
I had nothing else to do. And I was in that, on the 3-year plan, on the 2-year college, if you guys know that. And I tried out for a play, thinking I'll just be an extra. Like, I've always kind of wanted to be around that, and who knows, and I'll be an extra. And they ended up giving me the lead role. And I was like, what? Like, you don't want me? This is not me. And I got into the room with all of the other guys in the play, and I was like, oh my God, it's the theater geeks. Like, this was so new to me. And I fell in love with it. And it changed my life.
Oh my God.
And eventually,
Did you
I
guys
worked my
see
way
the
up, and I
kid?
moved to LA, and there you go.
There's a kid right there. There's a kid right there, you guys. And she couldn't be more than like, I don't think this is Sabrina or her sister, because apparently this was only uploaded 10 months ago. But there's already an underage kid right there. Ew.
And the rest is not necessarily a Cinderella story, okay, because Hollywood is brutal. But that's another speech for another time, and we're not going to get into that. But that's the point. That's that part of my life and where I came from and what sort of opened the door for me looking at this subject, which I'll now explain how in the world did I get from there to what you saw bits and pieces of in the video. So back in 2012, I have a daughter, Rain. She's 4 years old. And I make friends with this woman who was traveling around the world educating people about human rights. And she started telling me about human trafficking.
So I wonder what Scientologist got to her, you guys, because she wouldn't just be randomly talking to a woman that's doing human rights. I mean, this seems a little like sus, to be honest. Like, they're very, very guarded. If you're not in the Scientology network, you're not getting anywhere meaningfully in. That's the point. They'll have connections, but you'll never really know, because you'll never really, like, there's only a way that they can speak to each other behind closed doors that nobody outside of those hotels or commercial buildings or houses understands. I mean, there's an entire language that they're speaking to each other in. So just keep that fully in mind. I mean, when you're speaking in Scientologies, you're speaking in Scientologies. It's every other word, every other sentence comes up with one regurgitated word from L. Ron Hubbard. Like, your entire vocabulary is infected by all of these disgusting euphemisms that are being used to warp your reality. Except that, here she is trying to, in her best behavior, to not use any of those words. They're highly aware that whenever they're in, like, with normal people, then, let's really not use the words. But other than that, they're using those words every other sentence.
And kids and sex trafficking. And she would use words like child brothels. And I was like, what? What do you, like, I can already feel in the room those words, right? And child sex trafficking, those words do not belong ever.
They don't belong ever, Marisol. In what world were grown adult men and women able to pay upwards of $500 an hour? And then even hand select a child to be their auditor. So why are you so disgusted when it happens in third world countries? And why are you so okay with it happening in your hotel, Clearwater, Florida, in your hotel, Celebrity Center, in your hotel, Sandcastle? As long as it happens inside of your hotels, then it's not something that makes you revolted. Well, think about that. Think about that through and hard. Try it. Try being honest with yourself. It's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your eyes. It's going to make you weep because you've been defrauded. You've been betrayed AF. And now you're just part of the problem. Big part of the problem. A big pawn in a horrific scheme that you should be waking up from, not aiding and abetting.
In a sentence. And I was horrified and upset, as anyone would be. And I couldn't sleep. And I didn't understand how one person could sell another human being, and then how one person could do it to a kid.
Do y'all just see that? How one person could sell a human being. What do you call when someone comes and buys 12.5-hour intensives. Marisol, what is that called? What is that called? Because you know what? When people came for Natalie Galbiati, underage child auditor that she was, people would be buying 250 hours, 400 hours with Natalie. And here you are pretending that you're very pressed that someone just sold somebody. And in your hotel, again, if it happens, if the selling of a human, including a child, happens in your hotel, then everyone is having a wonderful time because, you know, the hotel looks like this. Exactly like you see here, right? It's got nice carpet. It's got a nice podium. It's got a nice big flat screen TV. So then it looks like any other hotel. It's not trafficking. It's not trafficking at all. So that really needs to be called out, because just because it looks like this, it doesn't mean that trafficking doesn't happen. And, you know, if law enforcement isn't aware of that, then imagine how easy it is to dupe law enforcement. All you have to do is do a little cosmetic blitz, and then law enforcement will just see a lot of religion going on. Right, LAPD? Right, Clearwater Police Department?
To the tune of millions. And so I've always believed that if you want to do something about something, you have to educate yourself first. You have to know what it is first so that you know.
To the tune of millions. I mean, you guys, who makes millions? In Scientology, we were making, when I was there, average of $2 million a week. If we didn't do $2 million in a week, you guys, all hell would break loose. Debbie Cook would go insane. She would start screaming. She would start saying, nobody wants to save a world. Nobody wants to clear a planet. You're all on rice and beans. You're all disgusting. You're all out ethics. You're all pieces of shit. Then everyone got frantic. Then they would make the $2 million. Then everything, okay, then that's great. That's okay. You can have a day off on Saturday for all of you that really want to have a day off. And then the next week it would crash again. Oh, again, everyone's disgusting. Everyone's horrible. Everyone's a piece of, so that is literally on millions of dollars. What were those millions of dollars doing? Buying time with humans. Now, for the 10th trillionth time, adults can volunteer themselves to be slaves. No one can come and help you. Children do not consent to be slaves. Period. In what world is that something that needs to be discussed, or, oh, well, maybe it is a case where, no. It's that simple. All Scientology parents, they want to be L. Ron Hubbard slaves, sign them up. Sign them up. Let them sign. They want extreme, they want horrendous, they want disgusting, they want all the depravities that go on in that hotel pitched by L. Ron Hubbard. Let them do it. I'm not trying to stop you. We're not trying to do nothing to you. In what world are kids being sold inside of the Fort Harrison Hotel, Marisol Nichols? In what world were invoices being signed by full-grown men and women, getting tax write-off incentives on top of it? Because this wasn't a straight just donation for donation, you guys. No. It was, I'm buying 500 hours of underage audited from Natalie Galbiati. And on top of that, I'm calling the IRS to shave it off my taxes. Yes, IRS, I just bought $100,000 that bought me 500 hours with a child inside of a hotel. So can you just take that off my taxes real quick? That'd be great, because I would literally like to, you know, save 100 grand on this taxes of my donation of what I just really donated to. So for all of you that want to go, oh, nobody knew, the Scientology parents didn't know, they were paying the invoice. They had full access to the hotel. They had full access to the HGCs. They could walk around any courtroom they wanted to. Once they were vetted, once they were in, once they had skin in the game, they got access to see everything. So all of you that really want to go, oh, but no, they know what in the hell they're doing. They know what in the hell they're doing. They're auditing people, disgusting. They're ethics handling people, disgusting. They're doing grooming courses with children, disgusting AF. Why? Why are those things happening? It's that simple. It's that simple, you guys. Scientology's 3 things, what I just said to you. Audits, ethics handlings, and grooming courses, all of them disgusting and abominable for kids. Marisol Nichols, you should know since you've done them. You should know since you've been audited. You should know since you've been ethics handled, and you should know since you've done the disgusting courses. So double check if there was a great idea to put as many kids as you could get a hold of inside of those hotels. That's what you're being asked to literally cognite, have a cognition, literally.
Oh, where there's a hole, or what can you do, or how can you be of help? So I dove in and I learned everything that I could learn, and I met with anyone who would meet with me. And fortunately, I'd been on 24 quite recently, so I could go to DC, and for some reason they just, they think, oh, 24, she knows the government, let her in. And they would let
Been on 24, so I could go to DC, and they just go, oh, she's been on 24. She knows the government. Let her in. That's all it took, you guys, to infiltrate the government again. As if you're not literally broadcasting it here for everyone to hear, Marisol Nichols. You said what you literally said. And imagine all the people that she's, in with at DC. And then we wonder why nothing gets done. Then we wonder why these hotels are ridden with what they're ridden in, as DC is now on the hook for taking meetings with this woman, for taking meetings with this other man, her partner that she's going to get into talking about, Tim Ballard, in a second. I mean, how are these things connecting themselves by connecting themselves? You all connect the dots for yourselves. I mean, what else?
I mean, it's true. So true. And I could meet with anyone, and the senators would meet with me, the congressmen. I met with Homeland Security. I met with ICE. I met with the State Department. I met with the executive branch under Barack Obama in the White House.
Wonderful, guys. So we didn't have to do our research. Marisol just did it for us. So put that on your notes. What departments have already been compromised and kneecapped to one degree or another by Marisol Nichols, who really went and told them that she's on a mission to save our world and really work with her and really trust her. While all of those departments, including ICE, including the State Department, the practice of these people parading celebrities has been documented. As if we didn't have literal John Travolta speaking to Congress to really have the State Department intervene because, in Germany, they're not letting us practice our religion. So, who's the plant, Marisol Nichols? That would be really great for you to answer and start typing. Who is the plant? And what type of idiots at the DC are giving you all those meetings and really meeting with you and really doing no background or due diligence on you? Imagine all of those departments. Imagine whoever in the hell is taking these meetings. Imagine they get paid probably upwards of 6 figures and they have 0 critical thinking skills. They couldn't be more gullible. They couldn't be more easy to bamboozle. All you have to do is have shown up at 24. Oh, it's on TV. I'm so starstruck by you. Let me just open the State Department for you. Why not? I mean, come. Look what we're doing here. Look what we're doing there. Look, Marisol.
Oh, thank you. but also I could learn as much as I could about this subject so that I could do something about it. So I'm going to pass on a little bit of that knowledge to you. So you hear different numbers. I'm sure you've heard different numbers, right? There's one source called the Global Slavery Index, which is the source that pretty much everyone in the anti-trafficking movement uses, including from the United Nations to the White House.
Imagine that. Statistics about slavery that, again, fail to count slavery taking place of minors inside of Marisol Nichols hotels. The one that you're a paid member to, Marisol, that one. The one that you have a paid membership to a hotel. Whatever membership you got to, I'm sure we could find out. So for all of you that really want to go, oh, but they didn't really know, they had paid memberships. In what world is someone a member of Soho House and I didn't know? They got vetted, they paid on a monthly basis. Well, these people paid on a to be a lifetime member, and then to be a meritorious member, and then to be a platinorious member, and then to be a statutorious member, and then all these BS trophies that just got bigger and bigger that meant nothing other than skin in the game. Aiding and abetting all the things that were being done to minors inside of the disgusting hotels. Yes, it took all of them, all the adults. By all means, all of you that really want to go, but the adults didn't know. Show me an adult that didn't know. Show me an adult that didn't ensnare their kids in it. Show me an adult that didn't pay any money. Show me an adult that didn't do the courses, that didn't do the ethics, that didn't do the audits. Show me where those are. Because that's called a never in. And yes, all of you never ins couldn't be more nauseated and disgusted. I get it. You were not there. You were not doing it. You didn't get told by L. Ron Hubbard to dump your kids inside of a hotel and have whatever randoms that completed a 2-week course have their way with them.
Everybody. About 10 years ago, globally, there were 21 million people enslaved. Today, 50 million people globally are enslaved. Today. It's called modern day slavery. And if you don't
believe me, we believe you, Marisol. We believe you. We believe you. And you know what? I don't know about your numbers. I don't know about your statistics. I don't know where in the hell you got them. I don't know how you come up with those numbers. I can tell you the statistics inside of the hotel. Because yes, in the year 1993, when I as a minor got abducted and signed on an unconscionable billion-year contract, dead bondage up to my heirs, in that year there were, probably, I'd say a good 800, 900 kids in the campus of FLAG, the cadet org, the outer org trainees, all the auditors at the HGCs, so many underage kids. That's why we thought it was normal. That's what y'all did to make us feel like we were part of a school. Oh, this is just your school. You're going to get a diploma. You're really going to just do a drill, and then you're going to do this. And then everything was very scholarly, you guys. Like, that's how they pitched it. Oh, everything's like school here, you guys. Like, you're not missing high school because you're going to this school, and this school you're really going to learn. Well, you know what? We were learning disgusting, grotesque rhetoric from a convicted felon that we couldn't be more nauseated or disgusted by. Now that we are adults in adult bodies. So yes, for a long time, ha ha ha, the joke was on us. Ha ha ha, yeah, we were so stupid and gullible and naive to think. But you know what? We're not naive, gullible, or stupid anymore, and we couldn't be more disgusted. And if you're not disgusted, Scientology parents, start asking yourself, in what world are you not disgusted with yourself? In what literal world of delusion are you living in? What y'all have done as parents is unheard of. Unheard of. I literally Any of you in the chat that wants to go find another example of how once upon a time, all these parents got together, all these parents agreed to do all the disgusting things that these people normalize for themselves. Just find another example of that many parents in on it, targeting the underage kids. At that scale, too. We're talking 900 kids in a compound of a hotel being sold on a daily basis. Where else is that example?
Believe me, look it up. I'm sure you all are going to wait, what, huh? And want to verify that. That's true. The shocking part is that over 70% of them are women and children.
The shocking part is that they didn't give an F at the hotel if you were a woman or a man. They just wanted people they could use as pawns that fit their very highly selective process to really figure out if you qualify, which, you know, included making sure that you were not going to be missed by anyone on the outside world, that, you know, that you didn't have any family working at the FBI, no family working at the, you know, ICE, no family working at the State Department, no family working in any type of media, no family, you know, anywhere where your family could have given an F, then you were not qualified. So all of you that want to go, oh, but you know, the Scientology, they were vetting it. They were knowing all of it. What part of this did they not know? Because that's what I would like to be told now. If you really want to open your mouth and defend them, by all means, defend them with what we don't know they knew. Because that would be really great for all of you who want to advocate for all these Scientology parents having done this to all their kids, with them being nowhere to be found in the year 2024. To repudiate anything. Apparently, they're not ashamed of nothing. Where's their shame? Where's their outrage? Where's the fact that this is being done today as this woman is platformed and platformed and clapped and clapped and clapped?
That's incomprehensible. There's literally 6.3 million women and children caught up in sex trafficking. And there's sex trafficking, by the way, in all 50 states in the United States.
Florida and California, big supporters of what happened in that hotel. So yes, we concur with that statement, Marisol. Inside of your hotel, there was a lot of that. Hundreds of kids ensnared. Hundreds, just literally every week, a new batch of kids would come in. Oh, these ones are outer trainees. These ones from our other orgs. This one's from Italy. This one's from France. This one's from Spain. This one's from here. Oh yeah, aren't we so worldwide inside of the hotel? Couldn't we be more legit? Because all countries are involved. I mean, imagine this is a wide-ranging international criminal racketeering scheme of children being moved across state lines, Marisol. I'm sure in your training you heard about that part. But imagine that, you know, also from other countries, because why not? Why not recruit them from Mexico when they're not going to be able to read a contract and understand what in the hell they're signing, but they're just signed up their year to be billion-year slaves?
And I know, you think, when you hear of these things, you think like, oh, those poor people in Thailand or Cambodia or the Philippines.
No, we're thinking those poor kids inside of the hotel where you are a paid member. You know, all these other pitches of, oh, the problem happens everywhere else. It happens in your hotel the most, and with the most oversight. How about that? I mean, you guys tell me, what other trafficker documents what these people document they do to kids? So for all the ones that want to go, oh, but the parents didn't, they're all documenting it. Documenting everything. They know. The problem is they know. The problem is not, we didn't know. The problem is they knew. They knew.
And you think of these scenes that are separate, you know? Unfortunately, it's not. Have you ever heard of something called sex tourism?
No. I mean, in your hotel, you were calling it Xenu tourism. The ones that knew. If you know, you know. If you're OT3, then you're doing xenu tourism that could, including but not limited to, get you access to kids that are going to come check on you. Oh, are you sessionable to go take your session today? Oh, you're not? You're feeling a little tired? And a 13-year-old had to take care of a grown-ass woman or grown-ass man. Okay, so now my job is to feed you. Oh, let's take you to the canteen. Would you like a granola bar? Would you like a chocolate? Would you like a power bar? Would you like a protein drink? Would you, you want to go take a nap? Okay, let's take you to your room to get taken a nap. Why were children tapped to do that, Marisol? Because all the AGCs were filled with underage kids doing that. I was tapped to do that as my youngest first job inside of the hotel. Go check on people that really need to go in session and make sure that they're very sessionable and do assist and feel my finger and disgusting, abominable things that were going on that you would know all about because you're very aware of all those assists and all of that. Again, you guys, all these mothers know. They know.
A little bit, right? Some people say, what? So sex tourism is a thing. And certain countries in the world are known for this.
United States, one of the best top countries. If you go to California, if you go to Florida, you'll find a huge hotel ready to cater for you. Big, entire, gigantic hotels filled to the nth degree with underage kids from all over the world. So if you like the Latin ones, there's plenty of those. If you like the Asian ones, there's some of those. If you like the European ones, plenty of those. Canadians, yep. Here's Canadians. What are Australians? Here's Australians. Here's South Africans. What type of kid do you want? We have them all inside of the hotel.
Meaning, men travel to those countries to have sex with kids.
Meaning, men and women travel to the hotels where Marisol is a paid member to, where they pay to be audited by including but not limited to underage children. So again, with this, like, oh, the men are the only, no, Marisol. In the case of Scientology, it's the men and the women who abuse underage kids. It couldn't be more disgusting. It couldn't be more revolting. But the women, are any of them found on the public record repudiating shit? No. So the women, the men, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in there. Just who do you want to get audited by? Oh, that 15-year-old gave me a very great session. They had Camilo Saldarriaga, they have Matteo Galbiati, they have Andrea Galbiati, they have Natalie Galbiati, they had Sherry Chapolina, they had plenty of underage kids you could just pick and choose from. I mean, literally, you guys, I mean, this is why all of this seems so normal to kids. All the parents put us there. Everybody said it was wonderful and amazing. They all hyped themselves up, as you heard Elena at the beginning of this podcast. Everything's great, everything's wonderful, everything's fantastic. And in that hype and cognitive delusion that they're spewing without any self-awareness is how all of these false pitches are being portrayed.
And all kinds of aberrated, yucky stuff.
Oh, aberrated, yucky stuff. See, you guys, like, she almost said the word in Scientology, aberrated, but yucky stuff.
Right? Thailand is one of those countries. Cambodia is one of those countries. And guess what? The United States is now one of those countries.
It's now, I mean, breaking news to you, Marisol, since L. Ron Hubbard created the disgusting rhetoric that normalized that level of abuse on children, that's already been here, breathing and being hosted inside of the United States. The United States has decided to host L. Ron Hubbard and his child trafficking proteges. Imagine that. That these United States that goes telling everyone around the world, oh my God, you guys, freedom, no more slavery. And then on the back end, you have all these crooked lawyers typing up BS that they can't even believe themselves, but they just type it. Oh yeah, I went Harvard, 501c, IRS. We're going to save a world. Oh my God, look at all these things that we are pitching to you. And that's all it took. That's all it took for a bunch of crooked lawyers to get together to write a whole bunch of fake pitches. And this is the result. This is what you have.
We're literally called a sex destination tourism country. And that's disgusting. And the profile, by the way, the profile of who travels abroad or travels to countries to have sex with kids are white, middle-aged American men. That's the profile. Now, in the United States,
well, the profile of who travels to Scientology hotels is tutti frutti, Marisol. So you got all kinds of people. You have old people, you have super young people, you have middle-aged people, you have all manner of people. You have men, you have women, you have old men, you have old women, you have all. You have them all. Because in your hotel, they're profiled differently, right? Who is going to qualify? Who have we vetted to come inside of the hotel? Who's gone through the clearances? I mean, these are all words they use with a straight face, you guys. Oh, is that person OSA cleared? Oh, no, they're not OSA cleared. Oh, they're not okay for the base. Oh, get them off the base right now. They're a security risk. Get them off. Get them off. Get security. Call security. Call Odo. Oh my God, Odo. We have someone that's not vetted. Can you come and grab him? Take him by the neck. Take him outside. They're not vetted. They're not qualified yet. Oh, they paid $100,000. Oh, they're going to go to clear. Oh, okay, great. Let's bring him back in. That's all it takes for them to recruit somebody. It's like, oh no, here, he's $100,000. Let me back in there. Oh, then we're going to trust you a lot.
it's literally American citizens for the most part. There's not really a need to bring kids from other states and other countries over, because trafficking is supply and demand, and we've got.
Well, no, you're wrong. In our hotel, there was a big need to bring kids from all over the world. Big need for that. And, you know, the men didn't have to travel out. The women didn't have to travel out. All those American men and all those American women that didn't want to, you know, take the trip around the world to go visit a hotel staffed with underage kids, they didn't have to travel out. They could just, you know, book domestic flights for themselves. Let me go to Florida. Let me really go clear myself. Imagine that.
Got the supply and the demand right here. And what makes up the most of it in America, a lot of those kids are foster care kids and runaway kids. And they're literally referred to in the anti-trafficking movement as throwaway kids, because no one's looking for them.
Imagine that we were thrown away by our parents, you guys. Nobody was looking for you. I mean, if you kneecap the parent as a trafficker, that's the best setup, right? Because if the own parents are in on the trafficking, on the abuse, on the normalization of all the crimes and felonies and a literal aggravated child abuse being perpetrated on the kids, then nobody ever gets caught. Imagine that's all it took with the Scientology parents for all of them to agree that locking kids up, including but not limited to against their will, was a wonderful, amazing, spiritualistic idea that they were having for themselves.
In fact, there was just a law passed by one of my board of directors from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, passed a law, because this was not a law, that if the kid that you're fostering as a foster parent goes missing, you didn't have to report it to the government or the police, right?
One of your board of directors? What in the hell? Did we hear that right, you guys? Did she say that she has in her board of directors somebody that works for this? I have to rewind. I'm sorry.
Throwaway kids, because no one's looking for them. In fact, there was just a law passed by one of my board of directors from the.
She said one of her board of directors. Did y'all hear the same? Yeah, National Center for Exploited Children. Apparently, the National Center for Exploited Children is one of Marisol's other partners. And one of her board of directors is literally passing some sort of law. Imagine being part of the National Center for Exploiting Children and going, you know who we really need to become partners with? You know who we really need to become part of the board of directors? Marisol Nichols. That's who we need. That's exactly who we need.
National Center for Missing and Exploited Children passed a law, because this was not a law, that if the kid that you're fostering as a foster parent goes missing, you didn't have to report it to the government or the police, right? And a lot of these people wouldn't, because they'd still get their check. So it's fine, it's a law now, but law enforcement is catching up to this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Law enforcement is catching up to nothing, Marisol, since you're so cozy-wozy with your bestie Westie at the LAPD, head of the Human Trafficking Division. And imagine that you are looping him out, getting him completely looped out, completely honey-potted, completely compromised, completely kneecapped, completely not able to do his job, completely having no independence at the LAPD because the entire Human Trafficking Division is kneecapped AF. Because Marisol Nichols is besties. She said it herself, you guys. Oh, don't we go back so many years? She knows the wife, everything. They're fully integrated with the LAPD, Marisol Nichols. Fully integrated there.
So how did I get to be an undercover operative? So I'm going to tell that story. So
How did you become an undercover operative, Marisol? You're going to tell that story.
any of you seen Sound of Freedom? Great. All right.
Did you see that pitch, you guys? How did you see Sound of Freedom? Yee.
So that movie is about Tim Ballard.
See how the Tim Ballard is coming right back to us, you guys? Tim Ballard in the house being invoked by Marisol Nichols.
That's my partner.
That's my partner. That's why I quoted you. That's my partner, Marisol Nichols. And going back to, this was uploaded 10 months ago. So imagine that since you have scrubbed your little social YouTube channel of the podcast that you purport to run, Marisol Nichols for a slavery-free world, and you can't find Ballard there anymore, but you know what? We did find him, and we showed the receipts. So, wah, wah, wah.
Thanks. So I met Tim back in 2013, 2014. I started holding these red carpet events in Hollywood because I firmly believe that trafficking was allowed to occur because no one knew about it. No one was talking about it. So if I could hold an event in Hollywood and invite a whole bunch of people to the red carpet, then I could spread the word. How am I doing?
Oh, you guys, she was going to spread the word. I mean, so we got through it, you guys. We got through the first part of our deep dive into Marisol Nichols and Elena Cardone. Two proxies of Scientology, utilizing their platform to glamorize, to normalize, to, see who they can ensnare, because that's the pitch. That's the power trip that they're on, thanks to L. Ron Hubbard. So we are sounding the alarm code red. Children cannot consent to audits, ethics handlings, or courses, Elena and Marisol. You are two Scientology mothers. You know exactly what in the hell that means. So start getting the word out to the rest of the mothers, because the kids that have been subjected to these disgusting practices are just about had enough. Being willfully ignorant is not even in the cards for y'all, since you know everything. So for all the people that really want to go, they didn't know, they knew. They knew. Go double check the pitch from the convicted felon, Scientology parents, all of you are invited to, in a new unit of time, grab those books. See if you can even get past Dianetics. I dare you to get past the point where L. Ron Hubbard pitched to you all that a 7-year-old girl should be getting passionately kissed, and then all of a sudden it was something wrong with the 7-year-old. See if the literal pedo red flags weren't there on the first book from that convicted felon. And if none of the Scientology parents can come up with a good excuse of why that line was written inside of that disgusting book, then you will start to finally understand what type of hot waters you are all in, Scientology parents. So for all the exes that want to go, but we left. Well, you know what? You haven't gone back for what in the hell you did. So leaving did absolutely zero to protect any other victim of all of what you have all normalized as a collective. So all of you that have played victim ad nauseum, that have run to the corporate media to get your little image laundered, soap and bubbles, meet this person that was abused, meet this other adult that was abused, meet this other adult that was abused ad nauseum like we've had for decades. The mainstream media cannot stop pitching adults that had the full ability and capacity to consent, to be ensnared in this disgusting power dynamics for themselves. And if they didn't like it that way, then you know what? They can start advocating for themselves. But you know what? They never mentioned the power dynamic imbalance. They never mentioned that. It's always like, oh, I got disconnected. Oh, my child disconnected from me. Oh, aren't I such a horrible parent that is now suffering because my child disconnected from me? How about you groomed your child? You put him in harm's way. You approved it, you normalized it and whatever. And then, so start talking to other Scientology parents and start really coming clean about what in the hell you have all normalized. Use your ethics technology. But now, not inside of a hotel. Scientology parents, use that ethics technology to come clean at the FBI Crimes Against Children unit. Go there. Talk to them. Cooperate. Stop playing dumb. Stop playing the victim. Stop saying, oh, I was so abused as an adult. Nobody cares. Nobody has the bandwidth. Nobody gives a literal F. Given that other kids are being abused. Given that little fact, all adult abuse means nothing to the kids that are being abused without a shred of capacity to consent. The tables couldn't be more skewed with all of you adults wanting to be saved from something that you were literally aiding and abetting. But there's no accountability like that. There's no telling it like that. They're all just pitching what type of victim valence they can pitch to the press to get some, cradling and canoodling. Because, if we all pitch ourselves as the victim, then it means we did nothing. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. You did what you did because L. Ron Hubbard told you, because whatever in the hell reason it was, go figure it out. Go figure it out with a therapist and a criminal attorney. Go to those 2 terminals. Those are your 2 terminals, Scientology adults, that participated in this stuff. Go to a therapist, a real one, and then take yourself to a criminal attorney and take yourself to the FBI and start cooperating and stop fronting. Stop capping. Every time you cap, children get abused. Every time you cap, you literally obfuscate from the facts. Every time we continue to raise the alarm code red and none of the Scientology parents come forward, is another day that goes by with hundreds of kids ensnared, put in harm's way, not doing anything religious for themselves, And it's just not, it's not something that can be happening. It's not something that none of us kids that grew up in that disgusting dysfunction want to ever hear about. So just like I said before, Scientology parents, you do something to stop it. We're going to continue raising awareness. We're going to continue sounding the alarm code red. But Scientology parents, you are in charge of the heavy lifting to make it stop, not us. We've been doing all the heavy lifting all along as the kids ensnared in this disgusting hotel. We're done with it. You take yourself to the FBI. You cooperate. You tell them what you were doing and stop literally giving them half withholds and really sanitizing completely indefensible, disgusting power dynamics that you cannot sanitize with a straight face anymore because the facts are known. Turns out it's not that complicated to understand who L. Ron Hubbard is. Turns out that it's pretty MF simple. If you ask everyone in this community that is taking the time to, again, understand what in the hell is going on, why in the hell are we calling all of these things out? Because it matters. It matters, Marisol. It matters that you pretend to care about kids and you call yourself a vigilante, but you're nowhere near raising a red flag about anything that you have front row seat at. So that's what's being called out, you guys. She has a front row seat. Well, you know what? You should be doing something about it. You shouldn't just be blabbing and pretending that you have a 501c to help end slavery while that is what's going on in your hotel. So if you didn't know, double check then. Because you've been there for enough years, Marisol. Enough years to have had your eyes actually open. Enough years to stop pretending that what you're doing in that hotel is not what you're saying you're trying to stop. So go double check on all your tours with ICE, with the State Department, and actually start coming clean to them. Start telling them what's going on in the hotels. Start cooperating. Start providing them evidence. Shut the hotels down. Period. I thank all of you guys for watching and helping me advocate so that there are no more kids ensnared in Scientology. We'll see you soon for part 2. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.